Hello. This master's thesis, entitled Telling Who We Are, Narrative Identity in American Autistic Writing, explores how autistic writers such as Temple Grandin and John Elder Robinson use life experience to tell their stories, construct identity, and reshape understanding of autism. For much of history, autism has been defined almost exclusively through medical, clinical, and behavioral frameworks. Autistic people were diagnosed and described, but rarely they were invited to speak for themselves. My thesis challenges this imbalance by foregrounding autistic writing as an important and powerful form of knowledge and self-representation. By first-person narratives, this research recognizes that lived experience is an important and legitimate source in knowledge that gives insights into autism. Question research. The aim of this master's thesis is to highlight the significance of literature as a tool that American autistic writers such as Temple Grandin and John Elder Robinson use to speak for themselves through the lens of medical humanities, critical autism studies, and narrative psychology. This research is expected to demonstrate that autistic memoirs influence public opinion, taking off marginal looks and humanizing autism. Examining memoirs by Temple Grandin and John Elder Robinson therefore fills an important gap by centering autism views, voices that have been historically silenced. Objectives. The main objective of this thesis is to analyze how American autistic writers use autobiographical narrative to construct identity and communicate lived experience. Both of writers describe the way their minds work. Temple Grandin uses a direct, clinical, meta-affect style. She focuses on the strengths of autism, on its power, and provides a practical tip, practical advice for tutors and families. Her book is a manual, and this manual is backed by studies. That is very important. John Elder Robinson, by contrast, gives a darkly funny story. His storytelling explains his odd behaviors, such as digging 5-foot holes, or his smiley reaction to the story when he got to know that his neighbor's child had been run over by a train. Both these authors share and show that autistic communication is different and may not conform to our social norms, but it doesn't mean that they are not humans. Theoretical frameworks. This research explores autistic authored memoirs as vital expressions for clinical research and awareness. With narrative research, with narrative competence, physicians can join the illnesses and recognize the journey through medicine. Personal narratives like autobiographies situate experiences in the context of family, culture, society. But this gap is still too huge. And this autobiographical gap has motivated CAS, Critical Autism Studies, to react. CAS actively promotes autistic scholars and writers to share the experience, to tell who they are. For example, works like Redefining Critical Autism critiques mainstream tendencies for underrepresenting autism and argues that this kind of research must be led by autistic scholars. There are also journals such as Autonomy that is created especially for autistic writers to be published. When the medical humanities reached the issue, it was in the beginning of 2000s. They contributed a lot and opened new possibilities and attracted attention to neurodivergent people. Osler's quote that the practice of medicine is an art has become a philosophical grounding. Analytical discussion. The purpose of this thesis is to examine autistic authored memoirs, focusing on how these texts, Emergence, labeled autistic by Temple Grandin, and Look Me in the Eye by John Elder Robinson, articulate autism and inform professionals that it's time to react and to study. Methodology. This study employs a qualitative approach to explore autistic authored memoirs. This method was designed to investigate and capture first-person perspectives of autism and to observe it within frameworks such as critical autism studies, narrative psychology, and medical humanities. Conclusions. These texts reveal that memoirs are important not only for the studies in psychology and education. Memoirs guide families and professionals towards greater understanding of autism and sympathy. Limitations. However, this study recognizes its limitations. Both of our writers are American, they are both verbal, highly successful. It excludes non-verbal autistic individuals, and it doesn't let many to access some platforms to be heard. Some can be non-Western, from non-Western countries. Anyway, it doesn't undermine this study and these findings. On the contrary, it gives new ways to new, more inclusive future research. Thank you.